Hey gang, Raven the Devil here again. I know it's been a few days. I missed a few of my promised Saturday and this past Tuesday. I was thinking this week in the day to day what I wanted to talk about. And not that I didn't want to do one on Saturday or this past Tuesday, and that's going to get mixed into here, along with the conversation I had yesterday in the day to day. Well, I'm Raven the Devil, and if you're here, thanks for coming to my channel. Thanks if you're returning to the channel and like what I'm doing. Do the thing, the thing. I'll say it again at the end. I'm going to try to make up for the missed day. I'm going to tell a couple of stories, one by request. So if you want to find out more about who I am, let's get started, shall we? Still trying to figure out this bloody video thing. I'm a radio guy, and now I'm doing this thing. Now, I was a perfectionist back in my day doing radio, and when I started, just being on a computer with a desktop mic was not good enough. I had a background a little bit at club level with metal bands, and I built a radio station in my house, so I always, in my head, sorry, I'm also getting ready for the day-to-day, got it into my head that, I had to be the best. I had to have everything a certain way. I had to do it right the first time. And then technology caught up to my ego. And the ego's been a joke for a long time. One sec. And I still have plans for world domination. And every once in a while, I got to remind myself of something. And when I do that, I make sure I check my ego. I was a diva. I have so many things around here that have diva written on it. And, I know Metal Chick, my former co-host and ex-girlfriend, among them is probably shocked to hear me openly, publicly talk about Raven the Diva instead of Raven the Devil. But this is Raven the Devil's channel. So I'm going to also try to take some of my mistakes and form some sort of ham-fisted everyman's life lesson, if you will. In my pleasure of the revitalization in 2015 and 16 of the Vault of Metal, I had the privilege of interviewing CJ Ortiz. Many of you out there may know who he is. Hell, CJ may watch this. He is the metal motivator. Me and Gambit had a chance to talk to CJ and had such a great time. Over the years, through many small home-based businesses, when I wasn't working with bands, I did something to pay my bills. I didn't want to work for anybody. And I guess that's where I'm going to go with this. Just a little bit of where my thoughts are on the world out there. And it's all coming from a conversation yesterday. And, as you've seen the other videos, I talk about trying to learn from my mistakes, like we all do. The hero's journey, I like to call it, because it sounds more epic. I was in metal for a long time, over 30 years. And epic is sort of metal. Epic. Lord of the Trident. New metal band that I got to interview. Doing really well, I see. And yeah, they're epic. Guar, ultra epic. Tattooed Odor is here because of everything Dave made me see in my early life and remaining a friend till he died. And, so many other folks that I've met. And even King Diamond recently when I finally got to get a picture with my idol. And that story someday I'll put together and put out. It's a complicated one for me. There's a lot of emotions in there I don't want to admit to yet. Hey, I'm human too, But yesterday evening, out in my day-to-day, and I call it day-to-day because any other word for it is unpleasant. Everybody's been trained to think negative thoughts. We all think about, oh, God, I gotta go to work. I gotta go adult. My dad was 40 when I was born. My dad was old world. I was raised by most of my people's grandparents. And my dad had this saying, and especially when I lost everything, I never was a good person. There were a lot of hardships in my life. Most of it, all, if not all, were self-imposed through one level or another. And but my dad had this belief of, I will take care of my wife before my children. Let me tell you why. And I've heard that speech many times, but ultimately it boiled down to I gave you everything to survive in this world. What you do with it is up to you. When I was young, I was arrogant, I was bullheaded, stupid. It took getting hit by a drunk driver to really make me realize how special of a dick I was. Really, I laugh at myself. I laugh at the old me. There's a lot of people out there, they see and hear my voice and they're like, oh God, it's him. I really have evolved since then. I'm no longer a knuckle dragging caveman like I used to want to put on my bicep. And so yesterday evening, I was talking to this young lady, and she asked me at the end of our conversation if I ever felt like I was somewhere at that moment because I had to be there. I've been thinking about that since last night. Now, I missed a whole series of videos I said I was going to do. I'm trying to build up an archive, but right now I just haven't had the time. One of the things is I live with chronic pain. As you can see, sometimes my eyes are a little bloodshot. Call me in the JR crowd, the hippie stoner, if you will. I have a medical marijuana card. I live with chronic pain. I take no narcotics for it whatsoever, prescription or otherwise. I've had too many friends, including the man I just referred to, Dave Brocky, who passed away from opiates. I've had many a friend, including family members, suffer from chronic pain and be debilitated through numerous means. The one that works for me is medical marijuana. It doesn't take away my pain. I live, if you go from a 1 to 10, at a standard range of 5 to 7 on a daily, any moment pain. But my medical card and what I get with it, I just don't care. I don't care about much anymore. I care about what's important, but what's really important is the impact afterwards. And when I don't have it, I'm a right special ass. I really am. I am not one you want to be around with, and I swear that someday when they put me in the ground, they need to give my wife a Nobel Peace Prize. They really do, because she's kept me from going nuclear so many times and put up with the times that I couldn't. Funny little anecdotal story. When we first met, I was living in New Mexico and she was in Pennsylvania. Came out to see me. Our first date was Roswell, New Mexico, to the UFO Museum. And we went to visit a friend of mine on the other side of the state, way out in the southwestern corner of New Mexico. We're talking John Wayne movie, mountains, and I was waiting for the Native Americans and the pioneers to come riding through on their way to, the Oregon Trail and the one that went up north, I forget. Donner Party. There we go. I was looking for the Donner Party. And that night, we were going to Albuquerque to go to Roswell for the UFO Museum the next day. And our route home was closed, and it was after dark. And that was the day I decided to quit smoking cigarettes. You ever been around a person having a nicotine fit? You want to add stress, no GPS, pitch black, back roads, desert of New Mexico? I had a nuclear meltdown of stress and anxiety on our first date. She didn't get back on a plane that next day and leave. We were in Albuquerque, she could have. And we went to Roswell, and now, almost 7-8 years later, we're married. So I'm no angel, and that's why I use these, because, well, it keeps the edge off, and, well, anyways, speaking of keeping the edge off, we learn to adapt with our difficulties like I have, and chronic pain is mine, and this past weekend, because of life and the universe and having a house with a yard, I had to do the yard, and it laid me up for several days, and then the day-to-day also responsibilities caught up, and by the time I was done and had time to make a video, the amount of pain that I was in, I couldn't talk through gritted teeth. So that's where I've been. That's why this 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes into the video, I'm getting onto the story now. This question of, and I told her, now I need to explain some things here. I live an atheistic life. I don't believe in anything. I'm not capital A atheist, though. I need evidence of everything. If you're going to accuse me of a crime, where's the evidence? If You're going to tell me the moon is made of cheese. Where's the brie that I see the astronaut's footprint in? You know what I mean? Uh, not a conspiracy theorist. I don't buy the BS from the media or the government or generally most people unless you can prove it to me. A lot of my life I don't talk about because I don't have the pictures anymore. The stuff that I do is on my Facebook page. So, there you go. There's me in a nutshell. But I like parables, and one was the old Jewish parable I heard about don't when you see a man suffering, be like the atheist. The atheist does the right thing because it's the right thing, not because God wishes it. And that's how I see my life. Is if someday there's a bolt from the blue and ta-da, we're here and he's there and I'll fine, whatever. But you know what? I'm not in a rush to be proven right or wrong. So I don't want to have that debate. So that's as far into this as I'm ever going to talk because it's irrelevant. But I have to put that there as a skeptical person of everything. I'm also atheistic in that way. But I live my life with the parable of do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And why am I doing these videos? I'm driven to this. And chronic pain is a slower for me. It slows me down. Learning to adapt with my chronic pain. Now, everyone that sees me with my cane and hears that story of the drunk driver, they go, oh, we're so sorry. But I caveat that with the vault of metal, the TV pilot with Chubby Checker, all the stuff I did after. Raising my daughter, the best part. You adapted. And now with what I do now, I want more out of life. I'm going after more. I got married and looked at my picture. And I'm going to do a whole video once I'm better at this editing thing. And help accepted, by the way, folks. But I just wanted to put a video out here today because I wanted to briefly talk about some stuff. And I met this kid yesterday. Well, not this kid. This kid's dad. And I just want to get this kid's resume because sometimes, I talk about things and people say, well, put your money where your mouth is. And I got $20 invested in this kid right here. Don't care about the raffle. I'm going to talk about this kid. It's going to blow his dad's mind if he watches this. His name is Adam Cornell. He's 22. He lives in Pennsylvania. This kid started racing, like Grand Prix, go-karts, things like that, at the age of 6. And that was 2007. Not only is he, I'm sitting here looking at things like a Boy Scout, honor roll student. He, in 2019, competed in the Bertolli Ruse F2000 Winter Series. 2018, he co-drove an MX-5 in the World Racing League twin 9-hour endurance race. Road Atlanta, co-drove a Honda CRX in twin 7-hour endurance races at Watkins Glen and competed in the Bertolli Ruse F2000 Winter Series. I know nothing about any of that. But I watched video of this under 16, 14-year-old kid driving off his Facebook page, which is Adam Cornell Racing. And that's like, Soundgarden Cornell. ADAMCORNELL Racing. Go check him out on Facebook. The reason why I'm saying this is his dad told me a story. Kid's good, but racing, like a lot of things in life, are locked behind a paywall. Sort of like pay to win. And his dad's going around, $20 a raffle ticket. He needs to get his kid to $150,000 to go to the next level of what he wants to be, or he's going to have to quit. And it breaks his dad's heart. His dad had a background in this. Now, great sales pitch aside, and I bought it, But this is what I'm talking about. We got to inspire young people. I didn't have a father that said, yeah, you know what, let's get you a bass guitar. Let's go ahead and get you into that martial arts program you want. There were things that I wanted to do that I thought would have built my character, that I really was passionate about, and I ended up leaving home at 17 and never looking back to do those things. And I learned those things in my life because I was told no. I didn't learn them well. I didn't always learn them right, and I didn't do them the right way the first time because I didn't have support, and sometimes I had to throw things away because I didn't have the ability to maintain it, sort of like my radio show. But here's this kid's dad, retired, 67, out hustling just to sell a raffle ticket. Don't even know what it's for, don't even care. I gave him $20 because I said what I'm trying to do with this is people like his son inspire me. 22. He ain't got the money either. He's got a GoPro he straps on the back and front of his car when he's racing. And he hasn't in a while because, and the last couple of years. He's 22. If he doesn't do it now, he never will. And isn't that my message? If you don't do it now, you never will. A couple of weeks ago, I told the story to the girl who inspired me to start doing these videos. The girl who wants to be an astronaut. That 22, beautiful girl. And she wants to be an astronaut. She's in the STEMs. STEM, science, technology, education, math. But we need that. We need more people. My daughter wants to be a digital animator. And so her girlfriend, a computer programmer. STEM. We need more. America used to be about exceptionalism, not acceptance. Exceptionalism. Now, I'm not going to go on a orange man bandwagon here or a blue party rant. It's not what I'm here about. I'm just saying we used to reward success and achievement. And then we stopped praising and telling people chase your dreams. We started living in a box. I watched that box retire my dad before his time, break his heart, make him mad. Now, my family has memories of my dad that I don't. Why? My dad told me, if you ain't got any money, don't come home. So I didn't go home. I've not seen my father much. I can count on one hand how many times I saw my dad from the time I left home. I left home at 17 permanently. My dad died 6-7 years ago now. I'm almost 53. Most of those are with my daughter a couple of times when I was in a bad state. I had to navigate this world with no guidance, except an occasional phone call if it wasn't heated. Burdens, crosses are mine. Ooh, that's my burden. Point is, I learned from it. My dad was right. I wish he was here to hear me say this. My dad was right. He did raise me with everything I needed to survive. I bitched, pissed, and moaned the entire time going through it. I blamed everyone else but myself for my problems. But my dad was right. I knew what I had to do, and when I finally stopped bitching and start hitching up my britches and just stopped making excuses for all the dumb crap I was going through and go, you know what, these people are right. It ain't them, it's me. That took me being an innocent man in jail. Ha ha ha. Yeah, the story of the behemoth will be coming up soon because in June of 2014, I was acquitted of that one. Spent almost 2 months locked up, barely had a chance to get out, and my father at Christmas told me, here's $75, good luck. My family didn't believe me. And I don't hold that against them. I did everything to lead myself to that situation. I just walked right in, led by the nose. I'll be telling those soon too. Because behemoth, woo, that's a big one. Many a way. But I try to do right on a day-to-day basis. And I like where I go and what I do on a normal basis now because I get to connect with people like I used to when I was doing the vault. A lot less salty most days. Sometimes confrontational, especially if you've got a squeegee. But there's an opportunity to do good at any level. If you work in a fast food joint, get to know your regulars. Listen to somebody if you're a bartender. If you happen to be a nurse, remember to be compassionate on your bad days, no matter how burned out and stereotypical some people may be. Just listen to people. It's part of sales, too. I hate to say it. To be a good salesman, you got to listen. Yeah, you got to be able to spin a game. You got to be able to run your mouth. But you got to listen to what people say to spin the tale. Storyteller. You got to listen to the audience. If you're into Avril Lavigne, I don't expect you to see you at nuclear assault. You know, you might be. There are people that like that stuff. What I mean is, if you're allergic to fish, you're not eating sushi. You know? And we constantly, like moths to a flame, like to wander into the things that are bad for us, sometimes because they're fun and dangerous. You know, think about it. Think about adrenaline for a minute. What is adrenaline? It's knowing you could fail and hurt yourself. I mean, jumping out of an airplane, the fall could kill you. That's the exciting part. You could die. Tomorrow is promised to no one. I only focus on right now. And sorry, gang, for me, the last few days missing. I'm going to try on the next few free days to stockpile a bit. I am not a video editor yet. I barely like doing my own voiceover editing. And, well, life is getting in the way. I've got to get moving today. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me. If you've gotten to this point and you think I'm making some sort of relevant conversational idea, hit like, share, and subscribe. Let people know the message is out there. I'm not trying to do this to make a buck, though. Hey, if it does, it does. I want to help people. You guys have a great day, and I'll be back in a little while.